Hey, welcome back. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so for the toggle text, I think what this is going to be is what is displayed here. And that's what we want. Yeah. So what we want to display here is what we have selected, either no grouping or epic. And actually it should be like none or epic. So so I would use this, but it says no grouping. So I think what we have to do is say like use this boolean. So we're going to use like a computed. So we could just do like is swim lane on? Okay, we're going to put two dots. So now in JavaScript, is swim lane on? If this is true, we're going to say epic. I'll fix the translations in a second. Epic or none. Now it should work, but we're going to move this to a computed property. Epic, none. Cool. I think this is the opposite. So then the default is none. Ugh. No grouping. Issues with no epic assigned. Do we have it right before or no? So if we click epic, we should get epic. If we click none, we get none. But what we're actually getting here is the opposite. Yeah, so something's wrong. Yeah, so this is correct. No. Epic. Oh, because every time we click on one, it doesn't actually select it. It just toggles. Ugh, what a terrible system. Okay, that can't be right. So on toggle, it just switches. It doesn't actually tell us what was clicked on. So we're gonna fix this also. Yeah. Okay. And why is this is checked? Look at the recording. Is it checked? Yeah, it is. Okay, fine. Cool. So if okay, so is checked, is swim lanes on, is epic. So then it should be if swim lanes are on, it is epic. Otherwise, it's none. Okay, and then so there's a few things we want to do here. One is we want to move this to a computer property. Another thing we want to do is we want to consider, should we just pass items or should we use these drop down item things? And one of the ways to tell which we should do is if we have a list of items, like a group, an array of items, sorry, not a group, can we tell it to give a tick next to whatever is currently selected? Okay, so we can have additional CSS classes to customize toggle appearance. We don't need this. Toggle text to be read by screen readers only. We don't need this. Toggle button text, that's what we're using. Toggle ID, custom toggle ID. For instance, it can be referenced by a tooltip or a popover. So this is a function, unique ID. So this gives it a unique ID. Okay, what this is used for is like if we have a label, then that's what this is for. Which maybe we'll do because it might be better to use the label instead of the span. So let's consider that. Okay, so there's no option to say like a tick. Oh, this is caret. It's pretty similar. So we're going to set this to true. We're going to see in our demo. Okay, we might just test it. Oh my gosh, set to true to hide the caret. Okay, so the default is false. Cool. So we don't want to hide it, right? Okay, icon name that will be rendered in the toggle button. Okay, so this is, I think when we're talking about caret, we're talking about this one here. We don't want to hide that. We just want a tick. And because we want a tick, and because this doesn't automatically give us a ticked, now we have to use the drop-down item. Cool. So what I want to know is, I can't find any documentation on how to use these. So I'm going to search the code base to see where they're used elsewhere, how they're used elsewhere. And this way, maybe we can get a bit more information. So what I really want is something with like a tick, right? So I'm going to say, I'm going to do a search, like, so this will only search the same line, but I want anything with a tick. Maybe it has like, I want to say like, it could be on the next line. I don't know how to do that in regex. Excuse me. Okay, so now this includes any new lines. And so we have anything or new line. And we have an extra. But, okay, so at least our thing is working. We're getting tick. I think tick, authentic. Yeah, this is too far. Static. Okay, what are these? Go check. Ah. So we want it to be in the same component. So this isn't working. So we can look for a drop-down item. And one of the things I want to know is like, we can't use a drop-down item in a disclosure drop-down, right? I think we need to use disclosure drop-down. I just want to make sure. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now what I need to know is, can we use is check item or is checked in disclosure dropdown? Because I can't find the docs on disclosure dropdown, what I'm going to do is have a look at GitLab UI. So this is like a cloned version, but you can clone it locally or do whatever you want. So I'm going to open this is like the definition of the component. So here we can see like what are the props. So it takes an item, and not much else. So we're looking for checked. No. Okay. So it doesn't look like we can have checked. Might also be the case that because we're displaying what is selected here, maybe we don't need a check, but let's see if we can do one anyway. So we can use a slot, which is okay, but it's a bit more complex. What the slot means is we're gonna like override all of this. Yeah. So what this is a component that is item component is, so it's either going to be a button or a link. And in our case, it's going to be a button. So then these are buttons. And we should be able to see that these are, okay, these are just line items. We don't have a button at all. Maybe because we're passing it wrong, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So we have a line item. This is working. And then this is being overridden by just our text, I think. So we could use this slot, list item, and just give a list item. But maybe we should say like it's a button. How does this work? Okay, so we get the item from this. And then in the item, we say, is this a link? Which is, does it have a href? So it does not. So what we need to do is, back in our code, instead of having this, we're going to say, we're going to make this self-closing. And we're going to say the item is equal to JavaScript text is this. This isn't quite right. So it should be an object with text. But we don't want to do this here. We want to make it a computer property, which is why I thought maybe let's see if this works. Expression for binding an attribute creates a new object. Consider moving it to computed. I will consider this, but I just want to make sure it works as I expect. No grouping. Okay, so now this is actually rendered correctly. So at least there's that. So again, here we want to do the same thing. Take this. So we want to have an item. Now this should render correctly once it reloads. Okay, so now one of our issues is it not toggling correctly. Epic, always epic. And this one just toggles on or off. Weird. Okay, so on toggle, let's have a look at how this works again. And we're going to track it. So we're going to ignore this. So if swim lanes are not on, then track something. Okay, and then toggle. So we're going to look at this one as well. Where is this coming from? Oh, this is it. This is it. Okay, so if swim lanes are on, we're going to push the state to make the swim lanes on. If they're off, oh my gosh, this is confusing. We're going to turn it on, right? But why does it matter? It shouldn't matter which we click because they both should work the same. But that's not what I'm seeing here. Oh, see, in the URL, it switches quickly. Like something in the URL is not. Something funny happening with the URL. All right, so what I'd like to do is track which is clicked on, like which thing is clicked on, and then use that instead of just toggling it on or off. I think this will be a lot better. Maybe we can change this from a boolean to like which is selected, because that way, you know, if there's more later, it works. But also it avoids this weird like turning it on or off, because this isn't turning it on or off. This is selecting which to use. It's just that there's only two options. Okay. So what I want to do is put the items in an array, which will work for us because we can put the toggle, and we can also put these. I think this is checked, but these aren't working because the new disclosure drop-down item doesn't allow for it. So what we might need to do is a scoped slot, which is going to get interesting quick. Because then it's more custom. So, yeah, I think we can turn this into an array, right? So what? Okay, okay. So we're going to have an array of items. We'll fix this code later. I'm just going to write it here. So this is an array of objects. So the first one is none, and the second one is epic. And it has the same is checked. So maybe like we need to say this, like is checked. So for the group none, we want is checked, is swim lanes on. Well, maybe we'll change this, maybe we won't. And then we want the opposite for here. So the alternative here would be like, instead of this boolean, it would be like what is currently selected, this or not. In which case we might need to put a value. We might need to put a value as well as display text. because the display text here is no grouping, but the value is none, or null, I guess. So we're going to move these to a computed property. So in our computed, we're going to have items, and hopefully Prettier can work out the mess I've made here. Maybe not. Okay. Okay. Cool. So this is an object. Oh, we're going to return this array. I think this is fine. Maybe we just need to. Okay, so is checked. This needs to be like this. Yeah. So I think this is going to be an extra props. So if we look at, everything's broken for the moment, but if we look at, what are we looking at? This is disclosure dropdown. So it has this props, which should have like an extra props that is passed to the button, right? Extra attributes. We're just going to put it in here for now. So extra attributes is, this is how it works. Okay, and then this needs this. All right, we're gonna pick this up in a minute. We're gonna fix this shortly. It's because of this is checked. We can't use the, like, if we didn't have is checked, we could just pass items to this. We could just like pass items like this. Oh. So this, and then this should be like what is currently selected. But we can't because we want this tick. So one thing maybe I want to know is like, so I can ask a designer, do we need this tick or not? But we could also work out like the selected, like is somewhere else using selected in GitLab disclosure dropdown? Because that's what we really want to show, like what is selected. So in disclosure dropdown, we want to know like selected or like a value or something like this. Oh, not this. Okay, toggle text selected stage. This is probably similar to what we want. Okay, so this is passed as a prop, but it should also be like changed somewhere. Yeah, so something should be able to change this selected stage because it can't just be a prop. So maybe we can look at the drop-down items and see this action. So this action does an on-stage click, which asks the parent to update which is selected. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna pause again, take a bathroom break. Actually, I'll leave the stream running, I guess. Okay, back to it. All right, so this version, the parent controls who, like which, the state. So for us, it'll just be in our own file which holds the state. Now, there's some tricky things here, like all of this logic will need to be rewritten if we use not toggle. So I'd rather leave toggle as it is. So yeah, I'm going to move this to something like maybe just toggle text will be okay. Why is this? Oh, because it has to be. It has to be hyphenated. So for toggle text, we're also going to have computed return, and then for these, we're going to use like the translation file. This already has a drop-down label. Cool. So drop-down label, it's not the right word, is it? But it's okay. I don't want to change too much. Toggle text drop-down label. Cool. Should have seen that earlier. Okay, doesn't matter. So now we should still work-ish. Okay, not quite. That's okay. Oh, because I haven't put the action. Okay. So I'm going to take the action from here. Yeah. So it's just on toggle. So then, so the action is on toggle. Shouldn't be quotation marks. Should be like this. It's dot on toggle. Oops. Was there something else we're missing here? This is checked, which is going to be different. Well, let's add it. No, we've already got it in the extra attributes. Okay, so now it works, but we're toggling every time we click, which is what is expected. So that's okay. And to change that, we need to change the action, which is on toggle. So what I'd like to know is like, do we get an event here? Like, do we get something passed to it? And what does that look like? I don't know. So we can have a look in the console. I don't know if it's already updated. No, now it's updated. Here we go. I don't know if you can see this. So we got action, we got text, we got like, is it checked or not? Yeah, so what I prefer to do is have like a, so we can check on the is checked. So like, if it's checked, then we should do the opposite, right? Would that always work? No. Right? So you have two options. If you click one, that is already checked, you should make the opposite. If you click one that's not already checked, it should, oh gosh. Yeah. So I think the tick is confusing here, right? Because if this had a tick and we click on it, then we want the opposite, which is why this toggle just turns on or off. But if there's no tick, then it's like, if you click epic, you should get epic. So this logic makes sense with the tick, doesn't make sense without a tick. But what do we want it to do? I think we want it to just be whatever is here. So in that case, we need a value, right? Yeah. Okay. So then what I'm doing is getting rid of the checked logic, which, yeah, I can ask a designer, or we can look at the original design as well. Yeah, so here's the original MR. And what we want to look at is the issue. And what I want is the design. Here's a screenshot of it. Group by epic. Okay, it's got the ticks. So I'm going to suggest that we get rid of the ticks, and we know which is selected by, group by, but we should also have something to specify which is selected within a dropdown. That's what I was looking for here. So in a dropdown, when something is selected, usually it looks a bit different. I'm sure it should say selected. Yeah, let's just have a look at some other ones and see how does this work. Wow, these are all very simple. Okay, we're just looking for down. Okay, so this GL disclosure dropdown is using like a custom, like a scoped slot. And it's giving a different component depending on the action. But what I want to know is how do we know which is selected? Which I can't see any evidence to show that here. Yeah. So I just want drop downs, not items. So I can also exclude this. Tab index. So this one has items. And it has select move item. So this is move card on boards, which should be where we are. Right? I think it's this. Yeah. Let's just make sure. So the text is move to the start of the list, move to the end of the list. Okay. So this doesn't display which is selected because it's not an on or off thing. Yeah. So maybe we could look at like our filters. So if we look at issues, okay, this is a tick. Let's look at this. Yeah, this is probably the exact, we want it to be the same design as this. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is find where in the code is this located, and then we can work out how this works, and then we can copy it hopefully. So what I'm looking for is like a unique ID. This looks like it's generated, so we're not going to find it in the code. But yeah, maybe we could also look for like this actual tick and see how this is being done. We have this SVG within the drop-down item. So it's probably using the old drop-down item. Okay, so this looks like it's automatically generated. This one, probably not. So maybe we can look for this class, magically find it, I hope. No. Or this one. It's like, where are these CSS classes coming from? Okay, this is what we want. A data QA selector. We'll search for it. Okay, so here's our search bar. We're going to look at this component, filtered search bar. Right, so now we're looking for our drop down. So this also needs to be migrated. So it's not going to be a useful example for us, but might help us think about it. Okay, these are the sort options. So what this is doing, for each option, it's giving us a drop-down item, and it's passing this is checked item, saying like, is it checked? Which we can use with our toggle, like, you know, yeah. What we could also do is we could update the drop-down disclosure item to include like a checked feature, because if it's going to happen a little bit, then you might need it. Yeah, or we can just use a slot and add it. Let's do a slot for now, and then we can work it out. Okay, I just want to see how scoped slots work on these disclosure dropdowns. So I'm going to do a global search for this. And what I want to see is like this. So this is a template for actions in dropdown safe actions. So this is not passing the item. You don't need to pass the items to the parent. We can just do it directly here. So that's good. Okay, so instead of items, what we're going to do is within here, we're going to use similar to the template like this. Yeah, we'll just copy all of this, delete what we don't want. So instead of for action in drop-down actions, we're going to do items. So I don't know, we're just going to call it item in items. Not quite. We can think of a better name, but this is okay. So I want it to always be a GL disclosure dropdown item, not anything else. So I don't need this. For the key, I can use like item.text, and I don't need a data test ID. For the display text, we can also use this. And then what I want to do is say, I want like a GL, like a tick. I'm going to have to work out how to do this. But I want to show this tick if it's there or not. I think we can do here, I think we can use icon. Which will be a check. So then we just need icon, name, check. Within the dropdown, and then we're going to say like v if checked, item.checked is checked maybe. Fine. So it's not in the extra attributes anymore because, well, no, it is. Right? Do we need it? We're not passing it. Ugh. Makes sense in a second. So, okay. To here, we're going to pass the item. And we don't need this, I think. Let's see. We'll just try without for now. So what we should see is like for each item in items, we're going to make a disclosure dropdown item and pass item as the data, right? As the prop. Okay. Yeah, cool. So this works. And now we want to say like, if it's checked, we also want icon of check. So let's just try like always put it in. Let's see if this works. Is this getting rendered? No. Okay, cool. So instead of passing item, we can pass the details. Like this. Item text, and then we'll also say like on action, do item dot action. Yeah, this isn't styled right now. So I need to work out how do we do this in a disclosure dropdown. So we use this slot. So then I think the way we do this is we say like wrap this in a template. Just like hash list item. I think that's how it works. Maybe we can put this in here as well. Don't know. Let's see. Okay. So then we're just putting it in here. Okay. So we have our text, but we don't have our check, our checkbox, our icon. What is happening here? In this list item, we have, why is this? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have our list item, we have the icon, we have the text, but we have no icon. So we have a button, we have the text. Okay, maybe I need to learn how to label our slot correctly. Like this. Okay, I guess. I thought it was. Okay. What is requires a directive? Right. Gonna again look at other places in the code base that use this. Yeah. Hash title. Fine. Okay, let's see. This is the same thing, so oh, we've still got this if. Maybe it would have worked fine. So fingers. Okay, so it should always be rendering that, but it isn't. And it's still rendering the button, which I don't understand how. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's still within this component, which relies on the item. So maybe we can override this slot by just putting template, and then we can override this whole thing. And then we'll just have to give it a button. Maybe this will be okay. So then it would work like this. You just have template. Why is requires directive? The template element is used to declare fragments of HTML that can be cloned and inserted by the script. Oh, this is within the item. Maybe that's. No, this is the item. Here is the template. Maybe we need to surround everything in a button or something? I don't know. I'm gonna replace this button, don't worry. Huh. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, someone's saying the video quality is bad. See if I can fix it. Yeah, it's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, well, I might need help or would like to discuss this with someone anyway, so I might just jump on the other stream. Yeah, I'll find the other stream and I'll post about it. Okay, thanks.